You're watching UATV English. We broadcast from the heart of Europe, Ukraine's on air. My name is Anna Nichenko. Hello and welcome. The consequences for Russia, Ukraine and the whole world of the attack on Moscow's Crocus City Hall we will discuss today. So, attackers at Crocus City Hall plan to escape to Belarus, said Alexander Lukashenko. According to him, the Belarusian border was closed after the terrorist attack at the request of Putin, with whom he had a call. And Lukashenko added that he decided to talk about such cooperation because citizens of Russia and Belarus living abroad reproached the head of the Kremlin for silence after the incident. These words contradict the statement of Vladimir Putin, who previously tried to convince Russians that a window had allegedly been prepared for terrorists on the border with Ukraine.
Putin знов розмовляв сам з собою.
Putin was talking to himself again, and it was again broadcast on television. Again, he accuses Ukraine, a sick and cynical creature. Everyone is a terrorist to him except for himself. Although he has been fooled by terror for 2 decades already, he is the biggest opening for terror, he and his special services. And when he is gone, the demand for terror and violence will disappear with him, because it is his demand, no one else's.
This theme and some others we will discuss with my guest, Dmitry Elovsky, political commentator, host of the Khodorkovsky Live channel. Hello, Dmitry. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Having me.
Hello and welcome. We have heard many versions about who organized this attack. In your personal opinion, who is behind it and what goals did they set for themselves?
Well, I don't hesitate, actually. I think that this is ISIS, and this is something that was done by the Islamic State. Probably there were not any tracks of FSB or other Russian security services because we don't see their footprints in this terrorist attack. But finally, at the end of everything, they are definitely the beneficiaries of this tragedy, of this terrorist attack. And as usual, Putin can play his card, his own game from every circumstance. Though they are currently trying to find some Ukrainian footprints. And this is kind of very tricky process and tricky question because we see that there is nothing that points towards Kyiv or Ukrainian special forces. And it kind of looks already a bit funny, and everybody understands it. We see that there are like guys from Tajikistan. We see them going to Belarus. We see actually their witnesses, and they say that yes, they were in Turkey. They were under some influence of some pretty harsh Islamic movement. And the most important thing is that we have actually seen the ISIS saying that, yes, we stand behind this terrorist attack. We've been training them, and there are other guys. And here you go with the photos. Here you go with the story of them. But what we see now is, Putin and his thugs are trying to connect Islamic State and Ukrainian State, which is basically hilarious.
You say everybody understands this, but what about Russians? Do they believe in the versions announced by the Kremlin, and why do they believe?
Unfortunately, Russians will believe in everything what propaganda will tell them. And propaganda is working very hard these days, and including all the State Duma members, propaganda TV channels, journalists, members of Security Council. Everybody's trying to say that, yes, this was done with the hands of Islamic terrorists, but they were orchestrated by Ukraine. I think that now people doubt that it's Ukraine, but give it another 2 weeks or a month, and I'm almost sure that everybody will be, unfortunately, sure that that was something orchestrated from Kyiv.
And such a question, has something changed in Russian society after this attack? Maybe.
Well, definitely, of course, people are afraid. People don't feel secure at their home and their at their own towns and at their own cities. They try to avoid public transport. Well, many of them. Many of them try to avoid visiting concerts, shows, festivals. People are really afraid, and mainly in Moscow and in St. Peter. And we actually see that. There are a number of phone calls to schools, to universities, to shopping malls, saying that you guys are under attack. We have put a bomb to the building, so watch out. And it's kind of nervous, you know. And let me remind you that. Putin said that he has started the war against Ukraine to prevent all the instability and all the insecurity inside Russia. But what we have witnessed now, what we have seen now, is the most brutal terrorist attack since the attack on Beslan school. It's something that Russia hasn't seen for decades, actually, and only Putin is responsible for that. He and his powerful friends from FSB and from other security services, they did not prevent it. They did not come at time to the venue, and they've let the terrorists go through the whole European part of Russia. They have nearly escaped to Belarus, and I think that was something that's quite peculiar. But on the other hand, people see very violent approach to the terrorists. They see tortures, and Russian security forces are not afraid of using them or of filming them and of posting it on network. We've seen one guy actually at the court. Uh, he just came from the torture. We have seen a plastic bag on his neck, and we do know that it's a common practice. Russian FSB officers, they put this plastic bag on the head of a victim, and they try to get all they need by this barbaric method.
Why does Putin so hardly want to tie Ukraine and the West to this attack?
Well, because he's in the state of war and he has to prove that he's right. And he was right in February 2022 by invading Ukraine. And this is the only thing that he's interested in. He tries to make all the events look like a consequence of Russian-Ukraine war. So this is something that, and he also needs a new agenda for his new presidential term. This I would like to remind you that this terrorist attack happened, I think. 1 week after presidential elections. So this is very important. This is extremely important. This means that his current presidential term would be very violent, very harsh, and he will be willing to attack everybody who is inside Russia, and he will be even more brutal with his enemies in Europe, in Ukraine, and in the United States, well, in the whole civilized world.
And one more, my last question regarding the mobilization of Russia. Experts said that it will begin after the so-called elections. Now they say that after this attack, but it still doesn't start. Why?
I think they are currently thinking about it. Mobilization is very unpopular. It was the most unpopular measure of Vladimir Putin since the beginning of the century, actually. And I think that now he maybe is thinking about organizing a draft mobilization, but not to fight in Ukraine, but maybe to fight terrorism, to fight terrorists. So maybe that will help him to avoid this word mobilization. He is very interested in it. He's very eager to not to say we want mobilization, because people are very unhappy, very unpleasant with this word and with this process. So maybe he might start something like a counter-terrorist operation, something new that will allow him to bring more human sources to the war, to the front line, and finally to mobilize more Russian men, but maybe to fight not only in Ukraine, but maybe in other states, maybe in other countries, maybe somewhere like Tajikistan. We know that people who are currently under custody for the terrorist attack are citizens of that country. But anyway, this terrorist attack will help him to catalyze all the processes connected with the human resources crisis in Ukraine and with mobilization.
Thanks a lot that you joined us today and for your answers. I'll remind to our viewers that my guest was Dmitry Elovsky, political commentator, host of the Khodorkovsky Live channel. So it was UATV English. We broadcast from the heart of Europe, and thank you for your support. It really matters. See you.